politicizing this issue? Meanwhile, the main accused, Lalit Jha, he was apprehended by the Delhi police. He's now been sent to 7 days police custody. There are now pictures of this main accused, Lalit Jha, along with a TMC MLA, Tapash Roy. The MLA in question says there is nothing but politics here, that he's an elected representative and he meets all kinds of people. The question, though, is who then is to be believed? And the moot question is the security breach. Will these lapses be plugged so that we don't have to face another situation where somebody decides that it's okay to jump from the visitors' gallery onto the parliament floor?
Minister Amit Shah is telling that Congress is politicizing issues, opposition is politicizing issues. Where is the politicization? Parliament become a mockery now. They made it like that.
कोई भी चर्चा की मांग कर रहा है, आप उनको डिस्क्वालीफाई एक्सपेल कर रहे हैं, तो इस तरीके का जो माहौल बनाया हुआ है वो गलत है। हमारी गलती क्या है कि हम मांग कर रहे हैं चर्चा हो, तो राजनीति कौन कर रहा है? केंद्र सरकार कर रही है।
15 MPs from Lok Sabha and 1 MP from Rajya Sabha was suspended today. And this shows the approach of Modi government to democracy and its the functioning of the parliament. This was all created by a BJP MP. It was his pass, and that MP is very silent.
देश विरुद्ध काम करते हैं, टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग जो है वो काम करते हैं, उसके साथ टीएमसी का तो जोग होगा ही होगा, कनेक्शन होगा ही होगा। आज पूरा स्पष्ट हो गया। हम लोग चाहते हैं कि दिल्ली पुलिस इसका पूरा जांच करे।
What it says, you see, what can you prove by a photograph, and that is to a single photograph? It seems that they want to suppress, cover up their failures.
The opposition MPs are being suspended or expelled, but BJP MPs who don't ask questions and keep talking unnecessary and on tweet and X handle, they are the ones who are allowing this. That means in a way national security is not so important for them. They are trying to now retrieve photographs and how it helps.
So all the 7 plotters who were involved in the parliament attack that happened a couple of days, they've been identified, they've been apprehended. Let's bring you up to speed with a roll call of the 7, the infamous 7. Sagar Sharma, he set off the smoke bomb in the Lok Sabha. He's an e-rickshaw driver from Lucknow who is apparently unemployed. The smoke bombs were in Kurla in Mumbai. He visited Pratap Simha's office in Mysuru. He collected the parliament passes in Delhi. Then there is Manoranjan, who jumped from the gallery along with Sagar Sharma. He rushed across the tables, jumping on different chairs and tables. He's an engineering graduate. He's unemployed. He's from Mysuru. His family is reportedly known to Pratap Simha. He's the one who arranged the meeting with Pratap Simha's staff for the passes. Neelam Azad, she's the one who was apprehended outside the parliament building. She set off the smoke bomb. She's an MPhil. She's a postgraduate, a graduate. She's from Jind in Haryana. She's participated in the farmers' protests earlier in 2022. She's also taken part in the wrestlers' agitation protests as well. Then there was Amol Shinde from Latur in Maharashtra. He set off the smoke bomb outside the parliament building. He's an aspirant to the Indian Army, but he failed to get through the army exams. He's from Latur in Maharashtra. He arranged for the smoke bombs from Sagar in the first place. Then there is the mastermind, allegedly, who was apprehended earlier today, and then he was produced in court. Lalit Jha, he's from Kolkata. He live streamed the entire security breach that happened outside Parliament. He's a teacher from Kolkata. He's been linked with various NGOs in the past as well. Then there is Vicky Sharma and his wife Rakhi, both of whom were accomplices. They allowed all of the accused, the 4 of them who stormed Parliament that day, to stay in their house in Gurugram for 3 nights in the run-up to what happened on the 13th. But The political sparring continues over the parliament breach. The BJP is going all out trying to link the intruders with elements of the opposition. Amit Malviya, head of the BJP IT cell, has said, and I quote, "The DNA of the intruders is linked to Congress communist axis." To which the response from Mallikarjun Kharge, the Congress president, has been that the Home Minister, Amit Shah, should immediately address Parliament and address the concerns of the members. Amit Malviya has also said that Mysuru local deliberately picked to obtain passes from BJP MP Pratap Simha. Kanimuri, the DMK MP, one of whom has been suspended, she has responded by saying that the BJP has expelled Mahua Moitra over flimsy grounds but is shielding Pratap Simha. Loket Chatterjee of the Bengal BJP, she has said that the intruder Lalit Jha is linked to TMC leader Tapash Roy. There are photographs of Tapash Roy along with Lalit Jha. Tapash Roy has responded to that by saying that photographs are not proof of any links to the parliament breach. Anurag Thakur, Minister for Information and Broadcasting, he has said that the opposition is creating obstacles instead of cooperating with the probe that's been ordered. Priyanka Chaturvedi of the Shiv Sena has said that MPs being suspended for the crime of simply questioning the government. So the suspension of the MPs has united the top brass of the India alliance. They feel like they have got the government on the back foot on the security breach. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has tweeted, and that is part of our Motorola India's Best 5G Smartphones tweet of the day.
Hello, Moto.
This is Mr. Stalin's tweet, and I quote, "Suspension of 15 opposition MPs, including DMK MP Kanimuri, is undemocratic and undermines the spirit of parliamentary democracy. The intolerant attitude of the BJP-led union government is condemnable, is crushing MPs' freedom of expression, the new norm in our parliament. Why are people's representatives being punished for seeking answers on a major security breach in the temple of our democracy?" That is M.K. Stalin, the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister. So let's get to our big debate tonight on Brass Tacks, the Friday edition. Is the security lapse issue now being subject to petty politics between the government and the opposition, between the Treasury benches and the opposition benches?
Hello, Moto.
All right, on the panel tonight, Sardar R.P. Singh is National Spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Shama Mohammed, National Spokesperson of the Congress Party, Riju Datta is Spokesperson of the TMC, P.K. Mishra is former Director of Parliament Security. Thank you very much. R.P. Singh, let me start with you first. The opposition is well within its right to say such a major Parliament security breach has happened when they ask for the Home Minister to make a statement, for the concerned security authorities to make a statement. What they are met with is suspension of 15 MPs. Surely, even the government should be concerned about this security breach, and it should call for all parties to come together because this is a national issue. Unfortunately, we are not seeing that. What we are seeing is partisan politics.
Well, when you bring street to the parliament, it happens. I mean, that's what's happening in parliament today. I mean, what is supposed to happen at Jantar Mantar is happening in the parliament. You are creating ruckus in the parliament. You are not allowing the parliament to function. You are not allowing the speaker to speak, and you are not allowing the chairman of the Rajya Sabha to speak. You go to the well and create ruckus there. Then what's the option with the speaker or the chairman other than suspending people who don't allow the parliament to function? There is a norms in the parliament. Not only chanting slogans, not only making noise, or for that extent even doing bhangra. One of these occasions they were seen in one of the sessions, they were doing bhangra also. So if they do that, then what's the option? I mean, you can do all that. There's a demarcated place named Jantar Mantar for that. But coming to the issue of what happened and what need to be done, Rajnath Singh has issued a statement in the parliament, and it's an issue of security. And Rajnath Singh is the defense minister, a senior cabinet minister also, and he has issued a statement. He has addressed the parliament on the subject. And this is not only concerning to internal security, this has ramification with other countries also, because there's a Khalistani element also which has announced some reward, and who has certain in advance that 13th December would be D-Day for the Indian Parliament. Now all this need to be investigated. Okay. And investigation has to happen under the charge of the Speaker of the House of the Lok Sabha. And he is doing so, and once the outcome is there, then obviously the Home Minister will make a statement in the Parliament. It's not that he is running from this statement in the Parliament. And when last time he wanted to make a statement, they didn't want to hear a statement when it was case of Manipur. He's in charge of Manipur. He wanted to make a statement. They didn't allow him to make a statement.
Okay, so let me ask Dr. Shama Mohammed. Dr. Shama Mohammed, there is a manner in which you need to protest, rushing to the well of the House, disrupting House proceedings, sloganeering and throwing things at the presiding officer. That's not the way to protest. Of course, everyone is concerned about this parliament security breach. An inquiry at the level of the DG CRPF has been ordered. The Home Minister has said, give it 15 days. We will take whatever necessary action needs to be taken basis the conclusion of this investigation. The Speaker is the custodian of the Lok Sabha, and it is his office that has ordered this inquiry. Why are you needlessly politicizing? That's the question being asked by the BJP.
Okay, so let me just tell you very clearly. In 2001, when the parliament attack happened, it was Mrs. Sonia Gandhi who first picked up the phone and spoke to Vajpayee. So we don't like to politicize. Now, here the issue is, you have to understand, on December 6th, Panu, the Khalistani terrorist sitting in America, said that he is going to blow the parliament before the 13th of December or on 13th of December. So the Delhi police security wing held a meeting to review the security of the parliament. Now, understand that. They come under the Home Ministry. They knew there was going to be an attack. Question number one, if you knew you were going to have, there would be some disturbance, why allow visitors? You should have cancelled all visitors since the level is very close. Number two, how did this canister get in through the metal trackers? So basically what has happened is there is a security lapse and an intelligence failure. So question number two is, there is a man who's given the pass. His name is Pratap Simha. God forbid he was from the opposition, a Sikh, or for that matter, a Muslim. They would both, either one would be called a Khalistani and the Muslim would be MP would be called a terrorist, and they would have put a UAPA. The question today arises is no action has been taken on Pratap Simha, who has issued the pass, but immediate action was taken on Mahua Moitra. She was expelled. No action taken on Ramesh
Dr. Shama Mohammed, I agree with the political point that you're trying to make, but I don't necessarily agree with the religious point that you're trying to make. I said this to one of your colleagues yesterday also. Look, it doesn't matter whether the terrorist religion is Hindu or Sikh or Muslim or Christian. The fact is that these attackers breach the security of the highest institution of this land. In a democracy, I don't believe that anything is bigger than parliament. It represents the people's will. But to say, oh, God forbid that they were not Sikh, God forbid they were not Muslim. I mean, come on, why are you seeking religious angles when none exist?
So 1 second, Zaka. The question today is because when there was somebody, a Muslim man was called a terrorist, no action has been taken on Ramesh Biduri. He sits still there. Why is the investigation on an opposition member of parliament, on a sitting member of parliament from the BJP takes longer, but an opposition member is immediately expelled? The question today arises is when they knew there is a security breach, I want to know who is accountable. Why is the Home Minister not accountable? Same thing in Pulwama. We have no accountability. There has been a breach of security. There was an intelligence failure. No accountability. This is a government without accountability. Now this will pass through. We just asked for a statement of the Home Minister.
Before I go to Riju Datta, RP Singh, please respond. Your MP, Mr. Simha, issued these passes. And we had this debate 2 nights back where 6 MPs, I had 6 MPs cutting across party lines, including an MP from the BJP. And he said, while, on the one hand, yes, parliamentary staff, MPs, personal staff, PAs, etc., they are the ones who fill the form, etc. But at the end of the day, the signature on the visitor form, the visitor recommendation form, is that of the MP. Nobody can forge the MP signature. So if Mr. Simha in this instance has put his signature on this visitor pass for these 2 attackers, then Mr. Simha needs to come clean. He needs to answer. He's been MIA. He's not responding to anybody.
Zaka, 100%. He need to answer, and he'll answer to the committee which has been formed by the Speaker. He will surely answer. Not on a TV debate, not to a public. I mean, obviously he is answerable. He is answerable to the committee which has been formed. I mean, also Mahua Moitra also got a chance to answer to a committee which was the parliamentary committee. And also, there have been 2 rekhis also which has been done before this attack. Now, we need to also know who issued passes for those rekhi. Whether it was Congress MP or a TMC MP or we don't know. I mean, it's still matter of investigation. Once that complete thing happened, then we will know who is behind this.
Okay. I want to go across to Mr. Riju Datta of the TMC because the BJP has made a big issue out of this, that there is the picture of this man, Lalit Jha, who the investigating agencies believe is the mastermind of what happened on 13th. Lalit Jha is seen with Tapash Roy, who is an MLA of the TMC. Mr. Roy, of course, has dismissed it by saying, you know, I get photographed with all kinds of people. But the TMC needs to explain, why is this character being photographed with one of your MLAs? You have to unmute, Riju, please. Unmute yourself.
Sorry. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah. See, all politicians are public figures. Now that means they take pictures with the public. By this argument, this faulty argument, we have seen pictures of the Prime Minister with Mehul Choksi. Does that mean the Prime Minister has scammed Indian banks? Definitely no. It is a nonsensical argument to start with. See, the bottom line...
No, but you made the same argument. No, Riju, if you remember when that picture leaked, when that picture came out, you made the same argument. ये देखो दोस्त हैं, इनके करीबी हैं, ये देखो इनका फोटो है, Davos में वो भी क्लिक किया था. You made the same argument.
Zaka, see, these politicians are very good at one thing. Just like, you know, journalists like you. We know verbal jugglery. So what BJP is trying to do is very simple. Change the goalpost, try to change the narrative, deflect the issue. Bottom line is 553 parliamentarians dictate the fate of 150 MPs. 150 crore Indians, and those parliamentarians are not safe because any random third person from the road can enter into the well of the parliament and detonate smoke bombs. That can be anything else. It can be a live bomb. It could have been a poisonous bomb.
No, but Riju, so your defense for the question I asked is, oh, he's an elected representative. He meets all kinds of people. That's your defense.
Absolutely, and this was the picture the BJP showing. And the same picture
Raka, can I add something to that?
Is for a, just ask him to be quiet 1 second, is from a inauguration of a Durga Puja. In Durga Puja, people flock by the thousands in Bengal. And you know it, Zaka, better than anybody. A politician, an MLA has gone to inaugurate that puja. 10 people are standing on the side. There is a picture being clicked. That means this is just a stupid argument even to discuss it. On the face
okay, RP Singh, respond. I mean, you're in politics, Sardar Sahab. You've been there for the last 20, 30 years. I mean, all kinds of people you have to take pictures with.
45 years.
Yeah, that does not mean that there's a TMC connection. That's what Riju Datta is arguing.
Well, had it been one-off picture with one leader, probably we could have thought of that. But it's not just one-off picture. It's with various other leaders of the TMC. He is a we don't know whether he's a TMC worker or he is a TMC connect or he is a TMC inclination. Although TMC has no ideology, but still, I mean, man can have TMC inclination. But why don't Mamata Banerjee come out categorically and state that we had no relation with this man named Jha, Lalit Jha, we have no relation with him.
Okay.
Let us say that, but he's not come out clean on that
okay,
also.
Riju, respond.
So, there are more pictures.
I am glad that Sardar RP Singh said,
Rajesh Shukla.
I'm glad that Sardar
I have more list of this sort of people with whom Mr. Jha has pictures.
Obviously, you don't know. But what we know for certain is that the two people who actually breached the parliament, the passes were issued by a BJP MP. That we know for sure. The security of the parliamentarians are the person responsible is the Speaker of the House. So the Speaker should step down. And if the
but once again, Riju, before I go to Mr. PK Mishra, once again, Riju, again, by that same logic, once again, every Lok Sabha constituency, once again, every Lok Sabha constituency has at the minimum about 10 to 15 lakh people, right? MPs, all kinds of people ask MPs for visitor pass. How is it the responsibility, not the responsibility, how do you expect, once again, let me finish, 30 seconds, Riju, how do you expect a member of parliament who has maybe 2 staff or 3 staff or 5 staff to be able to vet out of 10 lakh, 15 lakh people from his constituency everyone's credentials before they are issued a recommendation for a visitor pass? Come on, let's be realistic.
Zaka, you know it. No, 1 second. Please don't trifle the issue. You know it better than me. What is written on the letter, recommendation letter that the MP issues? That he is my family member, my relative oblique, I take full responsibility for the person and the MP has to sign it. So if he is so frivolous that he does not know who he is signing for, where the pictures are taken inside at the Red Cross gate before entering the parliament, then he should not be an MP in the first
Okay,
place.
let me ask Mr. P.K. Mishra, is a former director of the Parliament Security. Mr. Mishra, both of these points. One is this whole. I'm coming to you, Sardar. But just one second. Mr. Mishra, one, this whole MPs issuing recommendation for visitor pass. Ultimately, it is the Lok Sabha Secretariat that issues the pass, but it bases MPs' recommendations. And, you know, to be fair, there are all kinds of people in a constituency. There are all kinds of pressures on MPs. This is the least that they can do for their constituents. So, how do you have a better vetting system? Surely an MP or his PS is not in a position to vet every single person who asks for a pass. So, there has to be a better vetting system. That's number one. Number two, and I think this is the most serious issue, you have a three-layer security in Parliament. You have the Delhi police manning the outer perimeter, you have the CRPF, which is in charge of the building security, and then inside the floor, you have the watch and ward staff and the other Parliament security staff. How did these guys manage to breach this three-layer security and get inside? I think that is a graver concern. Mr. Mishra.
Yes, Rahul, very nice two questions you have asked. One is about honorable MPs recommending their constituency people to visit Parliament in the public gallery. Okay, any Indian can be recommended and they are allowed to come to the public gallery, but there are certain norms, security norms. Even though, let it be a member of Jaish Muhammad or let it be a member of Lashkar-e-Taiba, whoever may be, suppose he has been recommended, maybe by Pratap Simha or anybody else that way, he comes. I am not bothered who has recommended. It's okay, they recommended, they come, pass has to be issued. If it comes 7 days or 2 days or 3 days before, definitely his antecedents are being verified immediately because Aadhaar card is there, address is there, telephone is there, local police station is being telephoned and we find it out. But the same day or 1 day before, if the pass is recommended and it has been issued, okay, he comes. There is no problem of anybody coming into the Parliament. But you are very correct, your second question starts from there. The outer perimeter, that the wall, once he enters through reception, the Delhi police and Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha security, they check there. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, once he comes out from reception, second checking is there. Number three, when he enters the building gate of the Parliament House, he is again frisked. Number four, when he goes to the public gallery, again he is frisked.
Yeah.
And when he sits there in the public gallery, he is being told not to get up, or not to shout, not to move also. And Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha security personnel, they stand also both the sides of the public gallery. Now here I am telling you what has happened. They have wrecked it. Twice they have wrecked, they have gone to public gallery and they have seen the loophole, they have marked the loophole, that unlike that of the airports all over the world, in the Parliament House where it should have been done, the shoes are not being checked, neither any technical equipments are available like vapor detectors and body scanner or explosive detectors to find out any substance going through the shoes.
Okay.
Like checking of shoes and belt and cap in while going to airport, you go to aircraft, from aircraft, you are supposed to be checked and you have to remove.
Yes.
And you go to Germany and other places, a lot of marathon checking is being done. Here it is Parliament public gallery of the country and you are not doing it. Okay, they have marked it and they took the advantage of it and they made the shoes, they asked the shoemaker to bend it and canister was kept inside the shoe. That's a different issue. But we have one earlier, a post of the Joint Secretary Parliament Security was there of the rank of IG Police.
Correct.
It was then upgraded to additional DG Police. Now he is the person who is coordinating with Delhi Police, Ministry of Home Affairs, CRPF and other IB and other security agencies. Now these are the persons or directors and Joint Secretary Security and the additional DG Police of the Parliament, who is directly under the Speaker, under the Honourable Speaker. He is supposed to take it up with the Honourable Speaker. Sir, these are the problems. Like you compare the old Parliament with the new Parliament.
Okay.
The height of the public gallery is lower than that of the older Parliament, and there is no glass cover like that of old Parliament, so anybody can jump. In that gallery, nobody can jump now because the glass cover was made. I know it, that was made immediately. But now, if checking has to be done, then who will do it? Who will pass the order? It is the senior most security officers and the technical officers. They are supposed to take it up with the Honourable Speaker for the order, and that has to be taken up in the ground.
So let me ask RP Singh Saab. I think Mr.
It was
Mishra has
security
hit the
lapse.
nail on the head.
Yeah.
There was no glass cover in this new visitors gallery. The height apparently was lower. In fact, some of the MPs that we spoke to, they said that both of these guys hung on to the railing of the visitor gallery and then jumped from the railing onto the Lok Sabha floor. Clearly, somebody should have thought that through. There's no glass casing. So please respond. I mean, at an airport, RP Singh Saab, and you travel, virtually every other day, there is so much security that CISF does. Should we not expect the same kind of level of security in Parliament, which is the temple of India's democracy?
Less people are coming.
Well, Zaka, there are 2 points which I have to make. One regarding that Mr. Sima, that he should resign and all. I mean, as I said, he'll go to the committee, he'll give all the answers, and if committee feels that he is responsible, then action will be taken against him also. But still, we have to find out that who are the MPs who issued passes for the earlier Reiki. It's on record that they have done Reiki earlier twice.
Zaka,
So let's wait for
Zaka,
that
please.
also. Secondly, Zaka,
Finish your point.
I waited for my turn.
Mr. Singh,
Let's
finish
not-
your point. Yeah, finish your point. Yeah.
And also on this smoke canister, they are plastic canisters. I mean, even at the airport, yes, I appreciate that shoes should be removed and every shoe should be checked.
Yeah.
But even if it's passed through a machine, you will not come to know about the plastic. Now probably some new mechanism has to be devised where all this has to be seen through the machines now. But yes, there has been a lapse which has to be inquired, and it's just matter of inquiry. Let's wait for the inquiry committee to bring out everything up front. And once it happens, then the action will be taken. Heads will roll accordingly.
When Parliament was attacked in 2001, right? At that time, there were certain security loopholes that were pointed out because of that attack, and those loopholes were plugged. For example, if my memory serves me right, the CRPF manning the Parliament building security happened after the 2001 attack. Now, these are lessons that you learn. Now, we have learned a lesson that there has to be a glass casing at the visitor gallery.
Zaka.
Perhaps the height needs to be changed. We need to have body scanners and ask people to remove their shoes. These are lessons you learn.
Zaka, I don't agree, because there are no lessons. We already have been attacked. And let's understand, I have 2 things in this. One, that in 2000, there was just not the Parliament, but there was also 2001, the Legislative Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir also had a big attack. 2 Amarnath Yatras in 2000 and 2017, the second attack. Pulwama happened. Now, there's a difference. In 26/11, when it happened, the Home Minister at that point, Shivraj Patil,
Mumbai
resigned.
happened.
There is
Mumbai
accountability.
happened.
Wait,
Bangalore
let me
happened.
finish.
Ma'am,
There is
all of us know the
Pune happened,
circumstances.
Bangalore happened,
No,
Delhi
RP
happened.
Singh, one second.
What I'm saying is-
No,
But I
Dr.
didn't
Shama
interrupt
Mohammed,
him. Let me finish.
all of us
Let me
know the
finish.
circumstances which forced Mr. Shivraj Patil to
No,
resign after
let me finish.
26/11.
Let
He
me
did
finish.
not.
Let me-
He did not even visit that place within the first few hours when the attack
can I-
happened. He was busy
let me
changing
finish.
clothes.
Let me finish. No, you're not. You're
Yeah, go
interrupting me.
ahead,
Whatever
go
said
ahead.
and
Yeah, go
whatever
ahead.
said and done.
Go ahead, yes.
Whatever said and done, there is something called accountability. Here, I feel after Pulwama, after the Amarnath Yatra in 2017, in which their deputy CM Nirmal Singh himself said there is intelligence failure,
And
there
you
has
raised a
been no
question on the
accountability.
answering
After the
back of the
BJP has
Pulwama.
come to power, there is no account. He says there's a
retaliated
committee.
back. And
Ramesh
you raised
Biduri
question
is still
on
in
the army,
Parliament.
on the
Ramesh
retaliation of the
Biduri is
army
still in
after
Parliament. I
Pulwama.
want to know. Listen,
Okay.
I did not interrupt. Please let me speak.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
I'm
finish
asking
your
is, he says there is a committee. There is a committee. Ramesh Biduri has not been suspended. No action has been. The committee is longer when it comes to BJP members of parliament. Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh still sits in parliament after
Well,
huge molestation charges against
how
him.
about the-
So my
how about
question
the
is, when it's an
former
opposition
BSP
member,
MP?
immediate action, because we questioned. As a democracy, it's our right to question Amit Shah to give a statement. You suspended 14 members of
So,
parliament.
Riju
What is
Datta,
happening?
Riju
The
Datta,
appropriate
final
thing is we have the right
word.
to question.
Point is that the Speaker is the custodian of the House, not the Home Minister, not the government, not the Prime Minister. The Speaker has ordered an inquiry by DG CRPF. The DG CRPF will table a report within 15 days to actually go into the bottom of what exactly was the loophole, what is it that these fellows took advantage of, and what was compromised. That is the way to go about it. To needlessly ask for a Home Minister should make a statement, Prime Minister should make a statement, there should be a debate. What will be the debate? I mean, ultimately, what will be the conclusion of that debate, other than some political
China's
grandstanding?
has to resign.
Riju Datta.
Saka, see, the Home Minister
Riju Datta, yeah.
just yesterday, the Home Minister just yesterday on a conclave of another national channel spoke about the same issue. Then why doesn't he have the guts to come into the parliament? Because he's a Lok Sabha MP. And that same ill-fated day, Zaka, on the morning itself, on the 22nd anniversary of the terrorist attack, the Prime Minister, who's also a Lok Sabha MP, and the Home Minister, both garlanded the martyrs. So if there was no, oath-taking ceremony, they probably would have been inside the Lok Sabha. Now just imagine if they wouldn't have been gas canisters. Can you imagine the gravity of the situation? And we are having a childish debate about this. The Home Minister, the Prime Minister, the Speaker of the House, everybody should be concerned. I think all the parliamentarians that are attending the parliament are very brave. Because there is no security of their life. There is no security about your life or my life.
Okay.
We can be blown up any day.
RP Singh, final word. I spoke to a lot of these opposition MPs, Mr. Beniwal, Mr. Aujla from Punjab, the Amritsar MP. They all said, ultimately the people who stopped these two fellows and beat them up were the MPs, not the security.
Yes, but correct. Yes.
Zaka, I said, I accepted there has been a lapse. Now just need to be inquired. I mean, you can't jump a gun.
why
And
is there a lapse?
no less
Why
than
is there a
Rajnath
lapse?
Singh, the
Why is
defense
there
minister of
Amit
the
Shah
country,
resign?
has
Amit Shah must
addressed the
resign.
parliament on the subject.
Amit Shah
Now,
must resign.
they want
Amit Shah must
a home minister
resign.
to answer. He also addressed the
He's not
subject.
accountable
But
at all.
after the inquiry happens, and then since the inquiry is happening under the guidance of the Speaker of the House, so we have to wait for that. The Speaker of the House has already
Okay.
launched inquiry into it. So we have to wait for it. Wait for 3 days, he'll come and
We'll
answer
wait
everything.
for the result
But
of
why
that
jump the gun? And why
the
do
inquiry
that?
by the
Why
DG
can't they ruckus in
CRPF.
the
I've
parliament?
got to wrap up. Thank you very much, Mr. Singh, Mr. Riju Datta, Dr. Shama Mohammed, and of course, Mr. PK Mishra. We'll take a quick break here on Brass Tacks, but when we come back on the other side, it's a deep dive into two of the biggest international stories that have been making waves across the globe this past week. Number one, the Russia-Ukraine war. The Ukrainian president was in America, but he's come back with an empty begging bowl. The Republicans have flat out refused to give any kind of further aid to Ukraine. So what happens to the Russia-Ukraine war? Is Ukraine's defeat almost certain, if not imminent? Second, the rise of what many conservatives claim is the woke mentality in top universities across America, from Yale to MIT to Harvard to University of Pennsylvania. Some of the presidents of these topmost universities in the world testified before Congress, and their testimonies became the subject of a lot of criticism, particularly on the Israel question, and what we have seen roiling America's top universities in these last 2 months since this war began. Both of those stories right on the other side when Brass Tacks returns.
Hello, Moto.
categories that fee is going to be substantial, and in some categories it's going to be about 30% or 25%. United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, that is USCIS, has said that they have reached the limit set by congressional mandate to issue number of visas, that is especially H-1B categories. That includes both 65,000 H-1B visa and about 20,000 advanced degree exemption for H-1B visa services. So that will have its bearing on number of professionals who apply for H1B visa to work in companies or in individual capacities also sometimes in US, because H1B visa pertains to working professional, especially in IT sector. So this will have some bearing in the Indian IT sector as well. US CIS has also announced that they will send non-selection notices to registrants through their online accounts over the next few days, and when they finish this sending non-selection notification, the status for properly submitted registration will be announced. And now they will also continue to accept process petitions that are otherwise exempt from the cap. So only H1B visa category has reached the limit. Other visa services or other visa application process will continue to be accepted and processed. Now they will also continue to accept and process petitions filed to extend the amount of time a current H1B worker may remain in the United States, change the terms of employment for current H1B workers, allow current H1B workers to change employers, and allow current H1B workers to work concurrently in additional H1B positions. So while the fresh visa services will not be accepted, there are certain conditions which will still be accepted and processed as per the requirement and as per the terms and conditions laid out by the US Immigration Department. And they have also said, the US CIS has also stated that it has received a number of visa applications and many of them will not be processed because they have reached the cap. And what happens now if you did not get your US H1B visa for 2024? That means the status indication will be showing that not selected, and the selection notices to registrants through their online accounts over the next few days will be sent. Now US CIS has also informed that they will continue to accept and process petitions exempt from the cap. So other visa categories will continue to be entertained. And earlier, in a move that could impact various immigration process, the US Citizenship and Immigration Services has announced a proposed substantial fee hike. The proposed span a broad spectrum including H1B visas and has been met with criticism over 600 individuals and organizations during the process and during the decision making process. Also, they the US CIS has announced that they are facing revenue crunch because of the pandemic, and since then for few years the visa process services did not happen at a rate that used to be, and that also had a bearing on its entire revenue generation, which is now impacting its work adversely. And that means the reason for the increase of this entire visa processing fee has been proposed by the US Immigration Department. And the proposed fee rules is expected to be finalized in December or January 2024 with an effective date of 60 to 90 days thereafter, which will also address the shortfall in recovering the full cost of agency operations, which has persisted since 2016. The proposed fee hike, if enacted, would have significant implication for various immigration categories. That includes notably the H1B registration fee that could see a staggering 20-50% increase, rising from $10 to $215. The petition fee for an H1B visa application is also slated to increase by 70% from $460 to $780. The US CIS justifies this increase by pointing out the need to match agency capacity with projected workload and prevent future backlogs. And also the naturalization cost and other visa sub-services are also proposed to have a hike. So for the coming days, those professionals or those people who wanted to be in USA, either for the working reason or some professional reason, or who wanted to be a naturalized citizen in the US, they are going to have some hurdles. H1B professionals will have their visa process delayed because the cap for this year has been achieved, and others who have already been there, they may also face some fee hike if their visa application is not processed in the next few weeks, because in the next few weeks or next couple of months a new visa fee structure is going to be implemented in USA to fill in the gap of the revenue curtailment that it has faced over the last few years. And for that, they are going to hike fees. In some certain categories, that fee is going to be substantial, and in some categories it's going to be about 30% or 25%. United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, that is USCIS, has said that they have reached the limit set by congressional mandate to issue number of visas, that is especially H1B categories. That includes both 65,000 H1B visa and about 20,000 advanced degree exemption for H1B visa services. So that will have its bearing on number of professionals who apply for H1B visa to work in companies or in individual capacities, also sometimes in US, because H1B visa pertains to working professional, especially in IT sector. So this will have some bearing in the Indian IT sector as well. US CIS has also announced that they will send non-selection notices to registrants through their online accounts over the next few days, and when they finish this sending non-selection notification, the status for properly submitted registration will be announced. Now they will also continue to accept process petitions that are otherwise exempt from the cap. So only H1B visa category has reached the limit. Other visa services or other visa application process will continue to be accepted and processed. Now they will also continue to accept and process petitions filed to extend the amount of time a current H1B worker may remain in the United States, change the terms of employment for current H1B workers, allow current H1B workers to change employers, and allow current H1B workers to work concurrently in additional H1B positions. So while the fresh visa services will not be accepted.
Main progress has been achieved.
In the ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia, American and Ukrainian military leaders are scrambling to devise a new strategy to bolster Kiev's position. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is on a whirlwind, quickly put together visit to the United States. He's meeting with President Joe Biden and senior congressional leaders as America's interest in this war begins to fade. After a failed months-long counter-offensive, President Zelensky was rushed to Washington for these urgent discussions. He'll be meeting with senior administration officials in the White House. He's also hoping to demonstrate solidarity and garner crucial support, both on the battlefield as well as in Capitol Hill.
And that's significant. Ukraine is gradually becoming less dependent on aid, and we are moving to the right direction, and I want to discuss with the President how to strengthen it, especially enhancing our air defense and ability to destroy Russia's logistics. Our goals for 24 are clear: take away Russia's superiority and disrupt their offensive operations.
Complicating matters for Ukraine is the dwindling Republican support for the continued American financial assistance to Kiev. The situation is dire. There are concerns that a prolonged stalemate in the war could tip the advantage in favor of Russian President Vladimir Putin. President Joe Biden has emphasized the need to prevent Putin from gaining ground, urging Congress for additional funding to give Ukraine. But Republicans have blocked that effort, prompting Biden to remark that the Republicans are actually helping Putin win.
But without supplemental funding, we're rapidly coming to an end of our ability to help Ukraine respond to the urgent operational demands that it has. Putin is banking on the United States failing to deliver for Ukraine. We must prove him wrong.
The Russian military, having faced setbacks in its attempt to try and seize Kiev back in 2022 when this war started, they are now regrouping and strengthening their forces. Moscow's arsenal boasts more troops, more ammunition and missiles, which have been further augmented by a fleet of battlefield drones, many of which have been supplied by Iran. This evolving dynamic on the battlefield adds to the urgency for the quest for a new war strategy, both by Ukraine and by America. To enhance military advice and support, the United States is dispatching a 3-star general to Kiev. It is underlining its commitment to finding a viable path for giving Ukraine the upper hand on the battlefield. War games, which were scheduled in Wiesbaden, Germany, next month, aim to hammer out the details of this new strategy. Both American and Ukrainian military officers are actively participating in those exercises due to begin next month. However, a significant challenge arises from divergent views on what is the best way forward for Ukraine to regain the upper hand. The United States advocates for a conservative strategy, which is centered on securing the existing territory, fortifying Ukrainian positions, and then gradually building up supplies throughout the coming year. In contrast, the Ukrainians are eager to adopt an offensive stance, either on the ground or through long-range strikes. They are hoping to capture global attention and shift the narrative in Ukraine's favor. The stakes, of course, cannot be more enormous. Without a new strategy and without additional funding, American officials are afraid that Ukraine could lose this war and lose it quickly. This concern has been exacerbated by the erosion of Republican support on Capitol Hill. In fact, some Republicans are questioning openly the efficacy of giving more financial aid to Ukraine. President Biden underscored the flailing international interest in supporting Ukraine, framing this as crucial for thwarting Putin's ambitions. The United States has been a key contributor, providing over $100 billion in military and financial aid to Ukraine over the last couple of years since this war began. However, with a growing number of Republican lawmakers opposed to additional spending, there is demand for a clear and effective strategy before more monies can be allocated. This places additional pressure on Ukraine to comprehend the precarious nature of America's purse strings being tightened, and also perhaps to temper down the expectations of the Ukrainian public. A consensus is also emerging within the US military for a hold and build strategy. This approach emphasizes securing existing territory and then investing in Ukraine's own ability to produce weapons over 2024. The rationale is to enhance self-sufficiency and also to prepare Kiev to repel any potential Russian advance. If Ukraine is successful in creating a credible threat that could lead to meaningful negotiations by the end of next year or in early 2025. Simultaneously, Ukrainian officials are also exploring strategies to build on their successful deep strikes into Crimea, which happened last September and October. They are seeking innovative ways to keep Russia off balance. Sometimes they're targeting arms factories, weapons depots, and even ammunition transportation equipment. While details of all of these proposals are undisclosed at this stage, insiders describe the plan as very daring and focused on securing symbolic victories. American officials are cautioning that without a shift in strategy, 2024 could be exactly like 1916, the deadliest year of World War I. There could be significant loss of Ukrainian lives and also minimal changes in the battle lines. Ukrainian hospitals, for example, are already strained. Ambulances are shuttling back and forth from the front lines throughout the year. Now it has become very apparent, both to Ukrainian strategists and also to their American counterparts, that the counteroffensive, the famed counteroffensive through much of 2023, has been a failure. Although the official number of war casualties are yet undisclosed, officials say there are very, very steep losses running into tens of thousands. The 2023 counteroffensive was an attempt by Ukraine to try and reshape its army in the image of the US Army. That, of course, did not go down well. It drew criticism for what was similarly unsuccessful American attempts in Vietnam, Iraq, and in Afghanistan. Amid these setbacks, the deep strikes into Crimea were perhaps the only standout positive development for Ukraine. American strategists believe that building on that success, these deep strikes into Crimea and other Russian territory, is crucial for Ukraine's prospects in the coming year. even if much of that energy is directed towards rebuilding Ukraine's forces. To enhance coordination, General Christopher Cavalli, who's the top American commander in Europe, is taking a more prominent role. He's going to be liaising with Ukrainian officials. The Pentagon is also deploying Lieutenant General Antonio Aguto, who commands support for Ukraine from a base in Germany. He's going to be spending extended periods of time in Kiev. General Aguto's role involves working more closely with Ukraine's military leadership and also to try and refine the advice and support that's being offered by the United States. Now, despite substantial investments in tanks and advanced military training, Russian forces are maintaining control over nearly 20% of Ukraine. This is territory which Russia never had prior to the start of this war in February 2022. The main challenge now for Ukraine and its biggest benefactor, America, is to try and find a strategy that balances self-sufficiency, resilience, and creativity against what is an increasingly resurgent Russian military. The clock is ticking, and the world is watching closely to see how the narrative of this conflict, both on the battlefield and in the mainstream media, unfolds over the course of 2024. In recent years, conservatives in America have raised concerns about the leftward tilt of higher education. They argue that universities in America have become breeding grounds for ideologies which they deem as dangerous. Now, this past fall, the claims of the conservatives gained traction as campuses across America erupted with protests against Israel's military campaign in Gaza.
For 70 years, nobody really saw the truth. Nobody knows what the real story is.
They need to condemn what Israel is doing.
It's terrorism. That's all it is.
This was, of course, accompanied by very deeply hostile rhetoric against Jews. Many campuses from coast to coast, from Harvard to Yale to Stanford, MIT, you name it, some of the most prestigious universities in America and the world, were roiled by protests which was inflamed with anti-Israel and anti-Semitic sloganeering. Things even came to a head with groups of pro-Palestine and pro-Israel supporters having a physical go at each other. The situation escalated when leaders of elite universities who faced a series of challenging questions at a congressional hearing last week. The presidents of Harvard, MIT, and the University of Pennsylvania faced grilling from members of Congress on what they were doing about openly anti-Semitic inflammatory rhetoric that was being allowed on campus. This in the name of free speech, and all three were confronted with a series of challenging questions in this congressional hearing that happened in Capitol Hill. The moot question was, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate school rules? And the response of all three of them, the presidents of Harvard, MIT, and UPenn, or one would say the lack of a concrete yes to that question in response, has fueled Republican assertions that campus anti-Semitism was symptomatic of the radical ideas that they had been long warning about. Now, none of the leaders of these three universities were able to give a clear yes in response to that question, that calling for the genocide of Jews is indeed bullying and harassment and should be a violation of university rules.
We embrace a commitment to free expression, even of views that are objectionable.
Republicans seized this opportunity to cast liberals and their institutions as intolerant and hateful. Representative Virginia Foxx, for example, warned of the dangers tied to the race-based ideology of the radical left. She labeled these institutional anti-Semitism as a poisonous outcome of the cultural shift across America's campuses. Surprisingly, it's not just the Republicans. Some Democrats, too, have joined the criticism against these elite universities. President Biden's spokesperson denounced the three college presidents. Some Democratic officials, including Pennsylvania's Governor Josh Shapiro, have called for the resignation of University of Pennsylvania's president, Elizabeth McGill. Ms. McGill, in fact, subsequently resigned just a few days ago after her continuance was frowned upon by the Board of Trustees at the University of Pennsylvania. Even some prominent liberal business leaders have expressed regret for underestimating the severity of anti-Semitism on college campuses.
Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Penn's code of conduct when it comes to bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
it can be harassment.
The anti-Israel protests on campuses not only have driven a wedge between the Jewish progressives and their allies, but also fractured the Democratic Party itself. Now, this issue has prompted politicians as well as business executives to question their associations with these very same institutions which they once were champions of or supported. Even President Biden's team is caught in this entire vortex of anti-Israel and anti-Semitic rhetoric. They are genuinely afraid that this would eat into the younger vote bank of the Democratic Party. Many of the people who have been protesting on these campuses are young people who, of course, have been railing and ranting against Israel's war, many of whom happen to be Democratic Party supporters. This is the vote bank which President Biden desperately needs to come out on election day in November 2024. Biden currently trails his Republican challenger, Donald Trump, the former president, anywhere between 2 to 6 percentage points nationally. Today, if an election were to be held, Biden would lose the key swing states, and more importantly, he would lose those states because of this issue. The fallout has extended beyond the realm of politics as well. The Me Too movement has faced internal divisions. Now, more and more liberal women who were champions of the Me Too movement some years ago, like former Facebook executive Sheryl Sandberg, have come out and openly questioned the rather slow and tardy response of feminist groups, of women's rights advocates, and their institutions in addressing evidence that has been placed in the public domain that Hamas attackers on the 7th of October in that terror attack that completely shocked Israel used rape as a weapon of war. There's been radio silence by some of the most prominent champions of women's rights on that question of Hamas using rape as a weapon of war. On the presidential campaign trail, a topic that was largely ignored by the Republican contenders, the issue of campus wokeism has once again resurfaced after all of these protests and after last week's congressional hearing, which grilled the presidents of these three elite universities. Now, this shift is suggestive that the controversies surrounding anti-Semitism may actually rekindle efforts by Republicans to try and defund or at least restrict public universities. Now, there are public universities which dominate over state legislatures where Republicans can control the flow of funds to some of these universities. The critique of higher education is not new in America. Republican efforts to try and defund or restrict public universities have been gaining momentum for a long time now. More than 20 states have considered in the past of adding bills, restricting diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, or simply having identity-based hiring practices. But Republicans have also clung on to some extremely fanciful theories which now they claim have been validated by the performance of the three leading academics that happened in Congress last week. They believe in a far-right exclusionist theory called the Great Replacement Theory, in which the populations who are part of the ruling elite will be deliberately and slowly removed from their positions of power, and in their place, migrants and people of color will be promoted. Now, this far-right, exclusivist, almost nativist theory was first articulated by the French author Renaud Camus, but it's now been seized upon by conservatives and Republicans in America to foment their long-held theory that white America is soon going to be made brown, that it's going to be less white and more brown with the inclusion of Asians and Latinos and other people of color. Dr. Jay Green from the Heritage Foundation, which is a conservative think tank, sees the recent anti-Semitic protests on campus as a turning point. He compares it to the Zoom moment that happened during the pandemic, when parents were paying far closer attention and examining what their children were being taught in school because they were all sitting at home and taking Zoom classes. And what they found, that it was lacking in quality, it was lacking in content. Even expert commentators are accusing these elite universities of pushing political agendas, thereby missing the fundamental reason for the existence of these universities, which should be the pursuit of academic excellence. Many of these commentators are saying that universities should become less playgrounds for politicians to battle out ideas and more for a pursuit of research and higher education and academia. Today, a lot less young Americans, for example, think that a college education is a must for success in later life. many students have been crushed by student loan debt that they don't see it as worthwhile paying the kind of costs, taking on the loans that they do just for 4 years of a college education. The underlying emphasis seems to be on race and gender inclusion, which of course is a noble intention, no quibble with that, but it does so at the cost of merit-based admission criteria. The campus divide over anti-Semitism has ignited a larger debate about the state of higher education in America. Regardless of political affiliations, many are questioning the ideological shifts that are happening in these elite institutions and the kind of impact this has on students who are enrolled there. As a fallout of this war continues, the spotlight on American universities will only intensify, and that will leave American higher education, which even today is coveted not just in the US but by international students around the globe, it will leave American higher education at a crossroads.
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. Our lead story tonight is about the economy, the global economy. It faces three major challenges, and another Cold War could mean losses worth trillions of dollars. We'll tell you what the projection and the analysis is. Meanwhile, in Europe, Viktor Orban pulled off a stunt. He's the leader of